everybody.
Good morning.
Whew, gosh, a year goes by fast. Can you believe it? I feel like it was just, 12 months ago. We were right here flying up in our inaugural fly-up ceremony. But this morning, we are so grateful to all be together and to gather in this sacred space to witness and honor this sacred threshold for our youth and for our families and for our community. So on Friday evening, we entered the Sacred Lodge together, guided by Emily and Joe Sellis, who you'll meet in just a moment, myself, and with Mother Adelia, who is the spiritual overseer of the Ahashiman people, that is the native people of this land. And so we were really blessed to experience our time together. So in just a minute, you'll hear from Joe. And Joe will be sharing about the building of the lodge and its deep spiritual meaning. We built it last year, but we do recognize that there are some newer faces who might not really know what all went into creating our sacred space. So Joe will be coming up and explaining that in just a moment. And then Emily will guide us through the events of the evening. Right? What did we do together in preparation for entering the Sacred Lodge? And together as a community, we will all witness this rite of passage as each of our young ones is honored and welcomed onto the stage in their new chapter. So we want to hear some cheers and some joy and some movement. It'll be fun. So we give thanks to our families for walking with us and raising the next generation of heart-centered peacemakers, movement makers and shakers, and light bearers. We thank our community for holding and protecting this sacred space. We thank our SMT and our staff team for their dedication, and we thank Mother Adelia for her presence and her blessing. And most of all, we thank our youth. See you guys all out there. For your wisdom, for your laughter, for your courage, for your joy, and yes, for your spicy sass too. We got some of that. But you light the way forward for all of us, and today we are honored to celebrate you. Okay? So with that, I'm going to hand it over to my soul brother, Joe Sellis.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. I'm honored to be here, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to support our youth as a youth guide. And I just wanted to share an experience I had this morning, a beautiful experience. I was getting my family ready to come to Unity today, and there were 9 crows in my front yard, and that's very symbolic. Crows represent transition and transformation, and the number 9 is a very sacred number that means that there is a completion of a cycle. So that's kind of what happened over this weekend. So I just wanted to share that with you. I wanted to give a special thanks to Emily, Aaron, all of you and our youth, our whole community. Thank you guys so much for your support. I wanted to talk a little bit about our lodge. We built our lodge over a year ago with love, intention, and our hope for our youth in the future. Our lodge is still strong after a year. It's still beautiful. The structure is sound, and I believe that it will serve us for many years to come. So, the day we built it, we had parents, volunteers, and youth come together early in the morning on a very hot day. A lot of us were not quite awake yet, but we were excited to get started. We were joyful in spirit, and we shared a breakfast together with great conversation before we went out and gathered the willows for our lodge. We harvested the willows, and we chose, as best as we could, the strongest, longest willows that would support our youth. We built the frame with care and respect, and just to let you know, we utilized every single piece of willow for our lodge. Nothing was wasted. In addition to that, no willow was broken during the process, which is not common, let's say. That shows how much positive intention and love our community brought forth to really working together and building our sacred space for our youth. Okay. As you guys will see in a second, the lodge is circle in nature. It is sacred with no beginning and no end. The circle itself represents the cycle of life, birth, growth, and renewal, and a reminder of our connection to one another. We came into the lodge open and vulnerable and trusting. We let go of our burdens and our ego. We experienced renewal and transformation, as the crows represented this morning, a symbol of stepping into the next phase of our life. So, in closing, may this lodge and this community continue to remind us of our unity, our strength, and our responsibility to guide the next generation with love and wisdom. Thank you. And Tony, can you play video 1, please? All right. I'm going to hand it over to Emily.
Thank you, Joseph. So nice to be here with all of you, and just really appreciate the opportunity to work alongside such amazing people with this experience, and for all the families, like Joseph said as well, who bring their children and support their children's growth in this way. I think ceremony is such a wonderful way for children to experience the spirit and universe, God, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just so grateful for all of our youth who were able to really show up for themselves and for the community. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what happened at the ceremony on Friday night. So we had a little pre-gaming, a little pre-ceremony that was happening, where we started off by having the kids reflect and think about what they wanted to release, what they wanted to let go of as they step into this next chapter of their life. So they wrote that down on a piece of burned paper, and they kept that to themselves. And then next, they created satchels. I brought mine to show. And inside the satchel, they could choose for themselves which herbs they wanted to pick with the meanings of the herbs or the gemstones. There was little trinkets that they could add in, some sage, all of these things that each had meaning, and they chose these things that were meaningful for them so that they could keep this with them. And then lastly, they created what's called a prayer flag. And if you are to visit the site afterward, you'll be able to see everyone's prayer flags that were tied upon the lodge when we entered. And this was 4 different satchels filled with dried sage. And the different satchels are the different colors representing the 4 directions, representing the 4 peoples of the earth. So some really neat symbolism and meaning there. So after that was done, we went ahead and gathered together, and we walked in reverence and in single file over to where Mother Adelia greeted us. And if any of you have not experienced Mother Adelia singing, it is extremely powerful. So she sang in her native tongue. She brought us all in prayer of calling in the 4 different directions. And it was just a very powerful moment to bring everyone together in that spiritual space. And then we moved from there to let the kids leave their burn paper and burn that before walking into the lodge. We had them saged, smudged by Mother Adelia. they had their feet smudged, putting it over the burning sage. And then there was a Reiki altar where they were able to put the items that they wanted to have blessed and empowered, which we did afterward. So from there, they entered the lodge in clockwise formation, a lot of importance and symbolism as they did these things in reverence. They came inside, circled the lodge, tied their prayer flags on, and then we were led in a wisdom talk by Joseph. And Aaron also held that space of leading our youth in sharing from their hearts. And it was wonderful, and it was meaningful, and it was their space. And so afterwards, we closed that part of the ceremony. We walked out, and we had an angel walk. If any of you have experienced the angel walk, but it's a very quiet ceremony where we share positive affirmations and positive words for the kids to have whispered just for them as they walk through that space with their eyes closed, being guided by each other and by the community members. So that was the events of our ceremony that evening, and of course we had to end it with something fun, and we did some s'mores and kind of had the running around that kids need to have after sitting still for so long. But they did such an amazing job, and just the hearts that were poured into that space. I mean, if you walk over there, you will feel that energy is different over there, and it is a wonderful thing to be able to have these children there, all of the energy that they hold from their parents and loved ones that has brought them to this spot. And I think the big takeaway from this is we're not meant to do it alone. We're meant to grow in community, and so I'm just very grateful for all of you. So with that, we're going to go ahead to video 2, Tony. So we're going to go ahead and invite up our existing current Uniteens and YOUers to be on the other side of the stage over there by Aaron. They are going to be receiving our fly-uppers. And then for our fly-uppers, we're going to be calling you up one by one, and you'll come this way. For our lovely people here, if you want to wait till the end for us to really get into the joy of all of this. That way we'll be able to move through all of the individuals. So we'll go ahead and we're going to start with Afton. Afton, if you could please come up. So Afton we are giving Afton the spirit animal. We're giving these beautiful little keepsake reminders made out of stone. And the representation for each of our youth, we'll spend a little bit of time telling you about them. So this is Afton. Afton is the wolf spirit animal. And that is because of the courage that he shows and the resilience and continuing to work through difficult things, and the representation of community and what it means to be a loyal community member and having that connection. Also very sharp intelligence and that deep connection with intuition. So you can be greeted in with your cue.
Next up, we have Jade. We have the butterfly, which represents powerful transformation, lightness of being, and playfulness, and the world of soul.
My sister!
We didn't do dress rehearsal, so. All right, Landon, if you can come up, please. Landon is getting awarded the seahorse. So this is a seahorse. And the seahorse reminds us to trust the timing of life. They symbolize the ability to hold different perspectives at once, balancing yin and yang energies, having emotional depth, partnership, and sacred connection. So congratulations. And you received everybody.
Next up, we have Livia. We have the squirrel for you. Even while they work hard, squirrels play, leap, and chase each other around. Represents playfulness, joy, balance, give and take, agility, and adaptability.
Rose, can you come on up, please? Rose's spirit animal is the cat. So cats teach us to honor our own path. They have curiosity and play. They also have boundaries and protection and a good balance of shadow and light. Congratulations.
Next up, we have Sienna. And Sienna, we have the unicorn for you. Unicorns symbolize the essence of soul. They awaken the part of us that believes in the impossible, showing us that miracles unfold when our hearts are open.
And for our YOUer, we've got Isabella. Isabella's spirit animal is the turtle. So, as one of the Earth's oldest creatures, turtle holds ancestral memory and the deep knowing of the planet's rhythms. Many cultures see the turtle as carrying the world on its back, symbolizing creation, the cosmos, and the interconnectedness of life. So we will give them all a round of applause.
Okay, so at this time, we're going to invite maybe a couple of you, if you feel called, to share about the experience. How was the experience on Friday for you? Afton.
My son, he always has something to say. I thought the experience was really fun, and I liked bonding with everybody else.
Oh, I don't want to go. Do I have to go?
Go.
I feel like it was a pretty important part of my life. That was a very big moment for all of us, I'm guessing, moving up into like different grades. And for people who are in a higher grade, congratulations. Yeah.
The experience for me, it felt really safe and comforting, and I think it's gonna be like a really big memory that I have because it was really nice.
So, what I'd like to invite our community, if we would please bless our children, and then we are going to exit. We are going to go to the family room. So, all right, everybody, get prepared to receive. YFLers, put your hands together. Get ready to receive. Our community is going to bless you. All right, after me. Children? They're like getting bigger now. Kids, teens, young people, gurus, special light workers. All right, ready? We love you, we bless you, and we truly appreciate you. And we behold the Christ you are. Namaste. And would we like to bless the community?
Yes.
Who's going to lead?
Can I lead it? Can I please lead it?
So now you want to talk. Now you want to volunteer.
Now I want to Okay. We love you, we bless you, and we truly appreciate you. And we behold the Christ you are. Namaste. Have a nice day.
Check one.
Thank you, YFL. And now let us celebrate that with some wonderful music from Jody.
Thank you. Tony, can I get a little more guitar, please? Or a lot more? There it is. Now I ran into a neighbor who'd been down on his luck. He said, man, tell you what, we all go through hard stuff, but a helping hand can lift someone up and restore their faith in hope and love. Yeah, that's how you make a man feel his worth. You show him respect even when he's down in the dirt, 'cause then he'll feel seen and heard and wanna pay it forward into this world. Oh, it's not if you're pretty or rich enough that people remember you by. No, it's how high you lift them up like a rainbow in their cloudy sky. Together we rise. Together we rise and shine. Together we rise. Together we rise and shine. Now I too have had my back against the wall, feeling all alone, till a friend comes to call, says, hey baby, it's all for one, one for all. I'll be there to catch you if ever you fall. Oh, it's not if you're pretty or rich enough that people remember you by. No, it's how high that you lift them up like a rainbow in their cloudy sky. Together we rise. Together we rise and shine. Together we rise. Together we rise and shine with eyes that see in the dark. Yeah, shine a light with all the love in our heart. See, it's not if you're pretty or rich enough that people remember you by. No, it's how high that you lift them up like a rainbow in their cloudy sky. Together we rise. Together we rise and shine. Together we rise. Together we rise and shine.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty, a neighborly day for beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor?
Well, hello, neighbors. Unfortunately, Reverend Shara couldn't be here today. I heard word she may be in Meredith Carter's closet. Someone might need to be a good neighbor and go check on her. But since we're talking about how to be a neighbor, we thought that coming from Mr. Rogers himself would be a good way to figure out how to embody, how to put in your feelings, how to be a neighbor. Because we are a neighborhood, aren't we? Yes. Wasn't it wonderful to see those children feel so special? I would have loved to have felt that special as a child. And when we know we are special, we know we are loved. And life works out a lot better when we know we're loved. But for that, we need a neighborhood. And that's what we are here. And I am so grateful to know that there are places you can come where you feel loved. So the story you were talking about last time has been told for over 2,000 years. And it was someone who asked a very wise teacher, who exactly is my neighbor? Now that's a curious question, isn't it? It's almost like exactly how many bites of vegetables do I need to eat in order to get my dessert? What's the bare minimum I can get away with and still go to heaven? But this teacher, his name was Jesus, he did a very curious thing. The man was asking for a noun, for a category, for a boundary of who is my neighbor. Who do I need to love? And Jesus put it into a verb. And he said, it's not who is my neighbor, but will you be a neighbor? So I'm here to talk about how to neighbor, because neighboring is what I do. And neighboring starts with neighboring to yourself. So let's look at this video about that.
But you know, the toughest thing is to love somebody who has done something mean to you. Especially when that somebody has been yourself. Have you ever done anything mean to yourself? Well, it's very important to look inside yourself and find that loving part of you. That's the part that you must take good care of and never be mean to. Because that's the part of you that allows you to love your neighbor. And your neighbor is anyone you happen to be with at any time of your life. Respecting and loving your neighbor can give everybody a good feeling.
So here in Unity, we practice meditation. We practice these skills, and we can also practice neighboring. Oh, that person needs help. What a good opportunity to neighbor. Oh, that person annoys me. What a great opportunity for me to show up as a neighbor. And that's what makes a good neighborhood. And some would say we need this more than ever. Would you not agree? Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, I had a wise teacher in college, and he talked about evil in the world. And he said there is one thing in particular evil cannot stand. What do you think that might be? Love. Love is a very good answer. Very hard for evil to stand in a field of love. In fact, the lights went out on it just a little bit ago when we talked about it. I think that's a good answer. My teacher said, forgiveness. And it's very important that we know how to forgive. Because when we try to be neighborly, we will make mistakes, won't we? We don't always do a very good job. So we need to know how to start again and then show up with that forgiveness, and to let our children know that we make mistakes too. So let's look at this video, and I'll tell you a little about an experience I had.
So many people have asked me, do you ever get mad? And of course I answer, well, yes, everyone gets mad sometimes. The important thing is what we do with the mad that we feel in life. A few weeks ago, on my way home from a particularly tough day at work, I stopped to see my two grandsons. Their mom and dad weren't there, but the boys were there with the babysitter in the backyard, squirting water with hoses. I could see that they were really having fun, but I felt I needed to let them know that I didn't want to be squirted. So I told them so. And little by little, I could feel that the older boy, Alexander, was testing the limit, until finally his hose was squirting very close to where I was standing. I said to him in my harshest voice, "Okay, that's it, Alexander. Turn off the water. You've had it." He did as I told him, said he was sorry, and looked very sad. The more I thought about it, the sadder I got. I realized that Alexander had not squirted me, and that I had stepped into his and his brother's play with a lot of feelings left over from work. So when I got home, I just called Alexander on the phone. I told him I felt awful about my visit with him. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I was taking out my anger from work on him. I told him I was really sorry. Do you know how he answered me? He said, "Oh, Bubba," he calls me Bubba. "Oh, Bubba, everybody makes mistakes sometimes." I nearly cried. I was so touched by his naturally generous heart. And I realized that if I hadn't called him, I might not have ever received that wonderful gift of Alexander's sweet forgiveness.
So in that story we've been talking about, there were a couple of people who passed the man who was wounded on the road. And they were busy people. They were probably important people. And they probably had good reasons for crossing the street. Maybe they were late for church. Or maybe they wanted to be early enough not to sit in the front seats. But whatever the case, they decided not to stop. But someone did stop. And we call that person the Good Samaritan. And we might think that's a very nice person. But in that time, that was considered the person that you would cross the street from. And that was the person who stopped to help the person he was supposed to not like. So what Jesus is telling us is that there is a way to get out of this cycle. There is a way like my grandson did. And he said, everyone makes mistakes. And Jesus asked the man, of the people passing the hurt person, who is the one who was a good neighbor? And the man said, the one who showed him mercy. So that is what we need to do as a good neighbor, like my grandson did, is to show mercy. Now, you might not know this, but my name, my birth name, is Fred McFeely Rogers. And I really love talking about feelings. I like talking about the insides. And many of us have the Crayola crayon box of 8 colors with our feelings. But there's a 64 color box as well. And when we paint our life with the 64 colors, it's so much more vibrant. So one of those crayons is called mercy. It's not a feeling we talk about very much at all, is it? In fact, my memory of mercy is when I was little, sometimes my sister, if she were mad, she would twist my arm behind my back until I said mercy. And if she was really hungry or mad, she would make me beg for mercy. Now, I don't recommend playing that game. But that is one definition of mercy, is to not punish someone, but instead use compassion, right? We can do that. We can show mercy by not punishing a child when they break something by accident. There's a deeper level of mercy, and that is when we are care and we are kind for no reason at all, just because we want to. And then there's the mercy of the rain falling on everyone's garden, whether you think they're a good gardener or not. But the deepest meaning of mercy goes along with the word having the same root word, just different emphasis on the vowels, as the Hebrew word for womb. So mercy is the feeling a mother has for their child. That love that will not stop, no matter what the person does. Can you feel into that love? That womb field that we can create in our neighborhood? That's what we're being asked to do with mercy. But Jesus is saying, don't just stop with your own children. Put it in the entire neighborhood and have that mercy for everyone. So no matter what, we show up in loving. So part of being a neighbor is trying to practice this type of mercy. And another way we can think about that is by being a helper. Because I like to say, wherever there is problems, there are always the helpers. And we can be one of those helpers. And let's look at this video on that.
I was just thinking, you and your family and your friends.
I'm going to stop for 1 second. Let's do the next video, and then we'll come back to that.
You know, my mother used to say, a long time ago, whenever there would be any really catastrophe that was in the movies or on the air, she would say, always look for the helpers. There will always be helpers, you know, even just on the sidelines. That's why I think that if news programs could make a conscious effort of showing rescue teams, of showing medical people, anybody who is coming into a place where there's a tragedy, to be sure that they include that. Because if you look for the helpers, you'll know that there's hope.
So how can we be a helper? It's not always easy. Now, I would often have Yo-Yo Ma come on my show. And I would get letters from parents saying now their children wanted to learn the cello. And it wasn't so much because he played it beautifully. It was because the children saw him doing what he loved. And when we do what we love and we show up as who we are, as a good neighbor, that inspires others to do the same. And that gives hope. So some people think mercy means kind of being a doormat. But it's not like that at all. The word, chesed, has within it also the feeling of strength and boundaries. It's loving kindness plus strength and boundaries. That is mercy. So it may look like this. You probably all have someone in your life when you get together likes to talk again and again about everything that's wrong with those people. Well, in the old way, you could either listen through your gritted teeth, or you could argue. Mercy might be like this. Friend, I am not interested in talking about things that make us angry, but I'm curious how your tomato garden is going. Because I remember how you would pick the most ripe tomato and give it to me with a little salt. Mercy is finding the common humanity that we all share and talking from that place. So we're going to go to that video and just get an example of what it might look like for you.
I was just thinking, you and your family and your friends could have your own arts festival and include whatever you like to do, such as drawing, or painting, or dancing, or dressing up, or singing, or cooking. There are many ways of saying who you are and how you feel. Ways that can be so helpful. Ways that don't hurt yourself or anybody else. You know, that's how you can tell when you're grown up inside. You're sure that what you're planning and doing are things that can be a real help to you and your neighbor. Mm-hmm. I'm proud of you, you know that. I hope you do.
Let's all take a deep breath. Sometimes it feels like we can't do enough. But I'm here to remind you that when we show up and do what we love, when we act with mercy, when we try to be a good neighbor, even if we don't do it well, we are creating a neighborhood of care. And that neighborhood of care is connected to eternal life. That's what started in that story with Jesus. How do I have eternal life? Eternal life is by showing up as a good neighbor. And that's what we do here. My hope is you feel loved when you come here. That you remember that you are special. And you remember that what it is that you do is enough because we are doing it as a neighborhood. Without that, it could feel like emptying the ocean with a teaspoon. But when we do it together, those teaspoons become a new river. And that new river supports new life. And that new life supports a new story. And that new story brings forward a new culture. And that new culture cannot be stopped. And sometimes we have to wait a while to see the fruits of our neighborliness. But it will always come, and it will always be worth it. So I'm going to show you a video now of a way that I was surprised by an early kindness that came back in the culture, the neighborhood of care, to then bless me doubly.
Soul. And I want to learn how to be the best receiver that I can ever be, because I think graceful receiving is one of the most wonderful gifts we can give anybody. If we receive what somebody gives us in a graceful way, we've given that person, I think, a wonderful gift. This is my friend Jeff Erlinger. He's one of my neighbors here, and I asked him if he would come by today. I'd like to sing that to you and with you.
Okay, sure.
It's you I like. It's not the things you wear. It's not the way you do your hair. But it's you I like. The way you are right now. The way down deep inside you. Not the things that hide you. Not your fancy chair. That's just beside you.
I just read something I think came from you. It's you I like, every part of you, your skin, your eyes, your feelings. Whether old or new, I hope you'll remember, even when you're feeling blue, that it's you I like. It's you yourself. It's you I like.
It helps to be loved in order to work in this life.
Please welcome Jeffrey Erlinger.
It's an honor to be here tonight, to be part of your this proud moment. You know, when you tell people that it's you I like, we know that you really mean it. And tonight, I want to let you know that on behalf of millions of children and grown-ups, it is you that I like.
Thank you.
It's about
that,
what in the end?
That still brings tears to my eyes. Yeah. People have asked me, who has made a difference to you? And it's usually the people who allow me to be silent, to reflect. Because we live in a world with so much noise. But when we remember the power each of us has to be a good neighbor, we are part of the helpers, and we are part of hope. And thank you for creating this neighborhood here that blesses us all in ways you have no idea. Thank you for being part of the eternal story of love. And now, my neighbors, it is time for me to say goodbye. Final video, please.
End of a week is that we can look forward to the beginning of the next, when I'll be back, when the week is new, and I'll have more ideas for you, and you'll have things you'll want to do, and I will too. I'll think of you when I'm not here, 'cause thinking of people makes them seem near. The friends who know you, love you cheerfully, I do too.
I'm so grateful Mr. Rogers was able to visit us today. And let us celebrate all of that deep wisdom, the deep wisdom of simplicity, with some more music from Jody.
Through my window, as the storm blows, I see flowers in the rain. Past the thunder and the lightning, I am praying for a change. So when my little boy grows up to be a man, love will be the law of the land. And I'm calling on grace, spreading the word all over the place. Yes, I'm calling on love, dialing it up, 'cause we need it the most. Yes, we need it the most. I see one love and one world, with no walls to separate us. I see beauty and hear laughter from kindness. In God we trust, and the only tears that cry in the night will be the tears of joy, 'cause everything's alright. Yeah, I'm calling on grace, spreading the word all over the place. Yes, I'm calling on love, dialing it up, 'cause we need it the most. Yes, we need it the most.
I invite everyone to take a few deep breaths and settle into this space, settle into this field of mercy. This field of sweet, unconditional love. where we are special, where we are children of God. Mr. Rogers said that silence is one of the greatest gifts we could give. And the best parts of his book were the white spaces between the paragraphs. The pause. The connection within the pause. The Christ. That relationship where two or more are gathered in my name. When Mr. Rogers received an Emmy in 1997, he reminded us that we are needed in this neighborhood. He acknowledged the neighborhood of helpers. And he acknowledged his helpers, some of whom were far away, and he said some of whom were already in heaven. He reminded us that we all have special ones who have loved us into being. And he invited us to take time in the silence to think of all the people who have helped you become who you are. All the people who have cared about you and wanted what was best for your life. The people who chose to be neighbors to you. And I ask you now to bring all those people to mind and heart in the sacred gifted silence. And as you come out of meditation, may you carry those people in your heart, the neighborhood of who you are. Mr. Rogers said, whoever you've been thinking about, how pleased they must be to know the difference you feel they've made. And as you come back to this now moment, to this sacred community, to this neighborhood that we create this something out of nothing. we have an opportunity to continue this with the spirit groups coming up, because that is what the love principles are. They are the capacities of being neighbors in the world. The spirit groups has a service project to put feet on that in the greater world and to allow us to be the neighbors that we are born to be to each other. And with great gratitude for consciousnesses like Mr. Rogers and the enduring wisdom we receive from staying connected to the children within and without, the youth that we nurture here. That's part of our neighborhood garden. That's part of our enduring legacy. And if I could take on Mr. Rogers' words one more time, I would say, I'm so proud of you for prioritizing that. God bless and namaste.
Namaste. And thank you, Reverend Tara. AKA Mr. Rogers, Miss Rogers. Thank you, Jody, for that beautiful meditation song as well. Well, we'd like to welcome our new guests here in person and online. Hello, online. We are so grateful you have joined us here today. Here at UoT of Tustin, we believe in one God, one heart, many paths. Our mission is to transform lives and inspire people to make a positive difference in our world. We are a fully inclusive community of all walks of life and would like you to know, whatever your background, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, we are glad you have come here to continue that path with us. Our ushers are coming forward with flowers and cards for those of you who are here for the first or second time. If you're so comfortable in doing so, please we invite you to raise your hand so that we can recognize you and present you with these gifts. Anyone here new for the first time? Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. We invite everyone to join us after the service for food and fellowship around the hospitality table, and make sure you stop by our open door welcome center and bookshop reading room. Also, as always, we have our Reiki practitioners wearing green ribbons and our prayer chaplains wearing white ribbons, who will be at the entrance of the meditations gardens ready to offer prayer and healing. All prayers are confidential, and we love to pray with you. In addition, there are prayer request forms in the seat backs in front of you and at the table in the gardens, at the garden's entrance, that you may leave your requests in the prayer box, and they will be lovingly held in prayer by our silent ministry team. And there is an additional little instruction here. We have our World Day of Prayer coming up on Thursday, September 11th. And so those prayer requests that are in the seat backs in front of you, you can take out, write a prayer, and a couple of prayer chaplains will be in the back of the sanctuary to collect them, and we will pray, especially on that day, those particular prayers. There is always so much happening here at the UoT of Campus, our conscious campus. Please make sure you check your email each Friday for our weekly e-newsletter, and visit the welcome table just outside and to your right for information about our many upcoming and ongoing classes, events, and opportunities to serve as part of our beloved UoT of Tustin community. Now is the time for our love offering. We share our financial gifts. We support our ministry. This is an action of spiritual substance and proclamation of prosperity consciousness. We pass the love offering basket here in the sanctuary, and the ways to give electronically are listed on the screen. As the love offering basket passes around, please hold your hand over it and take a moment to connect with the spirit of giving. We are grateful for your faith and your generosity. And now, Reverend Chara.
One of the clips we didn't have time to get to was actually Mr. Rogers appealing to Congress for funding for his program. Because there's that level too. You know, we are here supporting the neighborhood and the values of our neighborhood because of your generous donations, because of how we give together as community. And, you know, we were, some of us were at talking about fundraising recently with many different people who are in the field, and the importance of education. You know, I tithe 10% of my income after taxes to Unity of Tustin, and then I give some more to other organizations that are near and dear to my heart. And what it costs to run our community is generally $250 per person per month. Now, there are many of us here who give a lot more than that, and that's why we thrive. And there are many people who cannot give that, and that is absolutely fine, because it's about a quality of integrity. What makes a neighborhood is when we all give what we can. And when we all give what we can, we know from the loaves and the fishes there is always enough. So with the deepest gratitude for the outstanding and sustained generosity that this community has showed throughout decades, so that we can be this for our youth, so they can be who they are for our future, so that we plant the seeds of the trees under whose shade we shall not sit, and we do it as an act of hope and love. I have so much great gratitude for us all. So let us affirm our love offering blessing together. Divine love, as we blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive in love, joy, and neighborliness.
Okay, first of all, thank you all for having me here. It's always like coming home for me to come here and play for you all. I remember years ago when my son was little, going into rooms like this with him. He was dragged to all my gigs of this sort, and he was with the kids, and it really made a huge effect on him. He was accepted to the Peace Corps, but it didn't happen because of COVID, but he did a few years with AmeriCorps, and it really made the path to his life. So this is called Do All the Good You Can. We're gonna rock a little bit. First of all, give it up for the drummer. Okay, thank you. If the sky's falling down, 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 troubles all around, round, round, keep searching for higher ground and do all the good you can. When everything's gone up in flames and you're left with nothing but pain, 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 a second thought is a minute gained to do all the good you can. People crying all over this earth, so much heartache, so much hurt. So find somebody close and lend them a hand, man, when things get bad. Do all the good you can. can. Now if your faith has been shook, 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 and hopelessness is everywhere you look, spread a little love round the neighborhood and do all the good you can. 'Cause people crying all over this earth, so much heartache, so much hurt. So find somebody close and lend them a hand, man, when things get bad. Do all the good you can. When things get bad, do all the good you can. Just put yourself in another's shoes. We'll pull each other through. Do all the good you can. So if the sky's falling down, 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 and trouble's all around, round, round, keep searching for higher ground and do all the good you can. 'Cause people crying all over this earth, so much heartache, so much hurt. So find somebody close and lend them a hand, man, when things get bad. Do all the good you can. When things get bad, do all the good you can. Very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please, everyone, stand for the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. And wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Go forth and have a blessed Labor Day weekend. Thank you.